Lawrence Stroll was observed in extended discussions inside the Aston Martin hospitality unit during the final days of testing, visibly animated in meetings with senior team figures and Honda representatives. The frustration is understandable. 6 days of testing in Bahrain have delivered clarity, and for Aston Martin, that clarity has been uncomfortable. It should not, however, have come as a complete surprise. Senior figures had already indicated that the early phase of this new partnership would be demanding. Expectations were extremely high. The build-up around Adrian Newey was so significant that reality was unlikely to match the initial euphoria. What began as optimism quickly shifted toward doomsday predictions. That reaction may yet prove premature, as we will analyze in this report. If you appreciate our work, you can support the channel by liking this video and subscribing for continued reporting throughout the season. The battery issue. After a winter intended to signal the start of a new era, Aston Martin leave Bahrain with the lowest mileage of any established team, ongoing reliability concerns, and only a limited understanding of their overall package. The central issue emerged late on Thursday. Following Fernando Alonso's final run of the day, Honda Racing Corporation identified a battery-related fault within the hybrid system. The car was returned to the garage. Overnight analysis began immediately. Engineers at Honda's Sakura facility conducted extensive simulation and dyno testing in Japan, working to isolate the root cause. By Friday morning, the issue had been identified. However, the logistical reality in Bahrain imposed limitations. With restricted replacement components available at the circuit, Aston Martin were forced to adopt a conservative approach. Friday's program was scaled back significantly. Running was limited to precautionary laps rather than performance work. The consequence was severe. There was no opportunity for representative long runs. No meaningful energy deployment analysis. No race simulation. Instead, the focus shifted entirely to validation and risk mitigation. In a preseason defined by limited mileage, this was another setback, reinforcing broader concerns around reliability and operational readiness heading into Melbourne. Track time on the final day reflected the scale of the disruption. Lance Stroll completed just 6 laps during the second session on Friday. Those laps were conducted without major issues being reported, but they were limited in scope and not representative of a full performance program. Fernando Alonso did not complete any meaningful running on the final day. There were no long runs, no qualifying simulations, no extended system checks under competitive conditions. With roughly 2.5 hours remaining, Aston Martin elected to shut the car down entirely. The garage doors closed not as part of a completed program, but as a precaution while validation work continued behind the scenes. In practical terms, the team left Bahrain without the data normally gathered in the decisive closing stages of a test, the phase typically used to refine energy management, confirm reliability margins, and simulate race conditions. The broader concern becomes clearer when viewed through the mileage figures. Across the second Bahrain test alone, Aston Martin completed just 128 laps over 3 days. Mercedes exceeded that total on each individual day of the same test. Aston Martin's winter total stands at approximately 2,110 kilometers. Cadillac accumulated around 3,930. Audi approached 5,000. Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull all averaged between 580 and 650 kilometers per car per day across the winter program. On that metric, Aston Martin leave testing at the bottom of the established field. Part 2. The recovery timeline. Honda Racing Corporation has confirmed that the root causes of the battery-related issue have been identified following extensive simulation and bench work at its Sakura facility. Engineers have now moved into validation and durability testing, aiming to stabilize the package in the short term. 2 principal areas remain under close examination: overall power delivery and long-run reliability robustness, typical pressure points in the early phase of a new power unit cycle. Integration matters, including gearbox durability and torque management, are also under review, reflecting the interconnected nature of the current package. Internally, the Chinese Grand Prix has been identified as the first meaningful stabilization milestone. Honda has communicated confidence that the key power unit concerns, including battery robustness, energy deployment calibration, and associated integration factors, can be brought under control by that event. This does not guarantee competitiveness, but it represents a plausible technical reset point. The objective in China is stability, and a clearer pathway for incremental performance gains under increasing scrutiny. Attention then shifts to Japan. Suzuka carries significant symbolic weight as Honda's home race. Domestic coverage will intensify. Any setbacks will resonate beyond specialist Formula One media. At the same time, Suzuka presents a technical opportunity. If steady progress is achieved during the early flyaway rounds, Aston Martin could arrive with improved reliability margins and a more refined understanding of its energy management systems. That would mark tangible forward movement. Immediate outlook. If Honda Racing Corporation's recovery curve follows historical precedent, initially turbulent, then sharply progressive once core technical issues are stabilized, the broader competitive picture could shift considerably by mid-season. The true inflection point will come when the power unit, battery systems, gearbox integration, and chassis development converge into one cohesive package. That alignment may emerge as Adrian Newey's work fully unfolds. Newey is understood to have told staff internally that he expects the team to possess the strongest chassis on the grid by round 11 of the season. That projection reflects medium-term aerodynamic ambition rather than immediate race readiness. It signals confidence in the conceptual direction of the car, while acknowledging that understanding and refinement will require time. That convergence will not be immediate. The initial pain in reaching those phases is likely to be substantial. Beginning in Australia, Melbourne is unlikely to represent a competitive launch. On current evidence, it will function less as a season opener and more as a continuation of validation work, compensating for limited running in Barcelona and Bahrain. Within the paddock, expectations are restrained. A clean double finish would already be considered a meaningful outcome. On present form, the risk of at least one retirement is significant. A double DNF cannot be ruled out. Even if one or both cars reach the checkered flag, Aston Martin could still find itself running near the rear, potentially behind the newer Cadillac entry. There is little doubt that the patience of Lawrence Stroll and Aston Martin supporters will be tested in Melbourne, even if the broader recovery roadmap remains intact. Now over to you. What stood out during the 6 days of testing? Was Lawrence Stroll justified in expressing visible frustration, or does responsibility extend more broadly across the project? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe for continued analysis ahead of the Australian Grand Prix.